Hi, I'm John Friar, and my colleague Justin Craig. We take in corporate governance from the entrepreneurship perspective. So far we've got accounting and finance, and this is a first step in a research process to take a look at governance in nonprofits and in family businesses. They both have similar issues, and what we're trying to use is a case-based approach to theory building of Kathleen Eisenhart. So an issue for nonprofits is, do they need to really act more business-like? The reality is that managing nonprofits have only been in business schools about 10 years. It's sort of a new phenomenon having moved into business schools, but the calls for nonprofits to act more business-like have been around for about 25 years, and especially in the current environment, it's a tough market out there for nonprofits. They're increasing competition for shrinking dollars. Several 100,000 nonprofits have gone bankrupt over the last few years, so it's a tough environment for them. And you see these authors here, even 25, well, I guess I have to do my math better, even more than 25 years ago, have been calling for, nonprofits need to act more business-like. It's a question though, is it reasonable for nonprofits to not necessarily act more business-like? One of the things we found, there have been few studies of nonprofits actually adopting corporate governance structures, so I've got the spelling there. And it may not, in fact, these authors, Alexander Wiener, said it may not be feasible or even desirable for nonprofits to act more business-like. So we're just trying to take a look at an initial feel for what might be going on within nonprofits and corporate governance. So, what's one of the things we want to take a look at is what's the difference between a typical nonprofit board versus a for-profit board. Two areas of structure and composition. General nonprofit is much larger than a for-profit. It's not unusual to have nonprofits with 40 or more people. I've seen some of them with 60 to 80 people on the board, as opposed to normally what you're talking about is maybe 8 to 12 in a for-profit. Who gets on the board? It's usually made up of donors and connections rather than people with specific skills. So one of the things you always consider with board makeup, and we sort of heard a little bit before, is you're looking for people with business expertise. Somebody else who's run a similar business who can guide management, support experts, people who know, as the other slide you put up, marketing, finance, legal, and community influentials, people who can reach out to the various stakeholders that one would want. And these are the people typically you would want on your board, but they necessarily aren't there. So, first study was to take a look at the American Technology Transportation Association. Joe Giglio got us the data because he was participating with them. And they had a board of 48 people. And what they were finding, it was extremely difficult to get consensus. Nobody could make any decisions, and they stopped attracting what they considered high quality people. So they considered that their board was no longer really functional. So they decided, having read the governance literature on for-profit, said we're going to shrink it down, and they decided to go from 48 to 18 people. So they shed most of the board. They set up 8 function-oriented task force to focus on the various areas, functional areas within the nonprofit, and they term limited all the board people. So they're trying to get out everybody who was just there because they had connections or they had been donors in the past. So what we've been taking a look at are the board minutes to try to get a sense of, and we're still in the process of doing this analysis, consultants report, examining this stuff using computer-aided text analysis. Can we find whether they were actually being more effective in their discussions, or they're actually talking about things related to strategy and their purpose. Take a look at the pre and post intervention. what's been going on within the functional areas, how they continuing to fulfill their mission, and are they framing learning around developing corporate governance charter? Are they getting better at being able to do this? And I'm actually going to feed that into Justin here. So
thanks, Sean. The way I got involved in this, and I just put back a slide here, because when John and I were talking rugby one day, he actually was talking about this project, and it was about this corporate governance situation, had 48 members on a board. And to me, coming from my frame of preference, which is a privately controlled family business board, and my interest is in professionalising that conversation, I just couldn't get my mind around it. So it evolved into, let me know more, and what information have you got? And so was involved in this board of 48, and there was an intervention. So as an opportunist, as far as a researcher goes, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could study the pre and post, to say, okay, let's get some evidence to say here it's a better functioning board. And my work with social entrepreneurship also has introduced the importance of the mission of an organisation, and what Sophie in her world talks about mission creep in these social ventures, or even in non-for-profits, the mission creep. It just starts off being something, but it moves depending on the agenda of the decision makers. So this project, we're hoping, sheds different lights on this. The third reason I wanted to be involved is because I'm interested in this computer-aided text analysis software that's starting to appear. So if you've got the words, can we actually look at the words, run them through this different software that's appearing now, that's being accepted in some better journals, and actually, let's say, softly, empirically test the pre and the post, the discussion. And if there is the closer links to the mission in the new iteration of this board, we may see that there's some reason to introduce some best practice, not only for non-for-profits, but also for privately controlled or family business boards that are professionalising. And this is the work that it's more applied work that I do when we're doing directors courses for company directors of family businesses. And these are the frameworks, and I won't go through them, but we start to look at the development of a corporate governance charter. It's work by Keel and Nicholson out of Australia, but it seems to be well accepted around the world. So we've got different models, and there's no point in me going into it. But you start to see, how is this evolution? There was a drama here, 48 through to 18. What does the new iteration look, and how can we use that case example to illustrate the use of the importance of having a strategic plan, of actually having something that looks more like a professional company? And here, again, it's this development of what's called a corporate governance charter, to actually look at this process and the importance of regular review. So from effectively a train smash, which was this association, which was a non-for-profit, they've professionalised it in such a way that it's more parsimonious. But let's see if we can find out whether their mission is being, their activities or the things that they're introducing are really aligned with their mission. So it's work in progress. Thanks for your opportunity to share it with you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.